Hello, my name is Seshi. In music circles, I'm known as Seshi's on it. I am a producer, mix and mastering engineer. At the same time, I am a botanist and a microbiologist. I've been in music for quite a while. I started off rapping, I moved on to playing drums, and then producing music for the past 17 years, mix and mastering, and that's my life. Being an African creative has its challenges. I think as much as you would want to express yourself creatively, there are going to be a lot of setbacks, considering the fact that in this part of the world, there are a lot of things that are in the way of creative people. So, to be a creative person in Africa, it means that you're going to have to do extra work. From the angle of someone who is not coming from Africa, it would require that you are generally recognized as a very stubborn person, and it will require that you put in extra work. There are very few properly structured creative institutions and industries that would actually help you elevate yourself and put yourself, or strategically place yourself as a person who can earn proper income. So if you have the proper mindset, you can elevate yourself and then be what you want to be. There are many young people out there who are very talented, amazing musicians who are looking for a chance to express themselves creatively. I think it's time that the people in government and our elders take a critical look at how we can monetize the creative arts properly. A lot of countries have put themselves in a place of value when it comes to investing in the creative arts. I think that it's imperative that we bring everything to a halt and then start marking out what we can do to be able to earn. You see, it's a win-win situation for the creative people and for the government as well, considering the fact that in this part of the world, a lot of governments are dealing with unemployment. If we have rainmakers who invest in our music, we would find ourselves in a place where we can commercialize, monetize these creative arts properly and pitch them at bigger institutions who would be willing to, make bigger investments in what these young people have to offer, as opposed to wanting to place some young people in certain places. There are also creative spaces that could be created that would churn out a very huge amount of revenue over a period of time. So as much as we listen to these young people at our parties and invite them to come and perform for us during our rallies and our events, there's also the need to give them something that lasts a very long time, something that is more permanent, that would allow them to earn a living for themselves. Most of the musicians we find around us are self-made. These are people who have toiled for a very long period of time and have found themselves making it, kind of. But then I think that it is time to listen to the voices, the younger ones, the people that are coming up, the people who have so much potential that would benefit the country as a whole in the long term. I don't see why we should not have, or we do not have, a royalty system. I don't see why so many types of copyrights are being infringed upon and the government does nothing about it. We have speech, we have talk, we go on radio and say all sorts of things. But the question is, are the systems really working? The people appoint, the people say they have done, but are you listening to the people on the ground? Are you listening to the people who are gracing your occasions? Do we really know the challenges they're facing? Well, I don't think so, because I'm with them. So the question is, which impressions are you giving us? How are we going to change this? Africa without art is empty. We fail to acknowledge the fact that everything we do around us is art. Now, a typical example would be our family, friends, relatives, brothers, sisters, involving themselves in art on a daily basis, even when it comes to joy, sadness. You'd realize that there is always something artistic about it, especially with music and dance. Africa without art would be more of an A4 sheet with no writing on. You'd realize that most of the things you find around you have been placed artistically, and it may not seem very evident until all these elements of art are taken away. From rising up in the morning and people singing praises and dancing to it, to being in any form of transport, listening to music, or having the driver's attendants, singing destinations, to getting to a point of work where someone is trying to sell something to you, dancing or painting something and presenting it to you, or sitting in a boardroom meeting where some market executive wants to pitch something at you. These things, as Africans, are all done artistically. So when you remove that element, there is nothing. To be an African creative means having to go against the status quo. In this case, meaning that you'd have to put yourself in a place mentally where you know that you're by yourself. Most importantly, you acknowledge the fact that there are not many creative institutions and placements for people who want to work in the creative arts. So ultimately, you are going to have to work extremely hard, and there is also the need for you to have the proper mindset so that you can achieve what you want to be as a creative person. It's crazy to think of yourself as an artist in Ghana because there are so many social pressures that you have to respond to. The most important is you're dealing with your parents and friends who think that you're supposed to be in some other line of work. At the same time, you'd have music drawing you in. Extremely difficult. Being in music in Africa is a life of poverty. That's a mindset people have, but I don't think so, because if you're able to learn the business aspect of music and place yourself strategically, you'd find yourself being able to earn a living, and a good one as is, because you'd realize that there are so many aspects of music that you can find a lot of returns from. With music, what we usually see is the end product. The end product being the song you'd listen to or the video you would watch with the music being laid beneath it. However, to be able to achieve the end product, you start with writing a song, arranging a song, getting people to come and sing, producing a beat that goes with the song. We have post-production where the vocalist has finished and then you have to carve it out nicely in the mix. And then we have the mastering that is finalizing the song that makes it available for streaming or whatever. And then we have the post-production, doing your master and then, promoting it after you're done. For you to be able to make the impact that you want to, there is a need for you to always be with the trends. There's always a need for you to associate yourself with what is happening. Currently, everything is happening online. For every emerging artist or artist that's already been in the system for a while, it's always good to keep yourself abreast with the things that are going on. Any artist who wants to stay relevant would have to look at the emerging markets, look at what their niche requires, and then go in for it. That is to say, it's important to be online, for example, a lot of the time, so that you would keep your old and new fans and feed the population that is all shifting to that dynamic.